Hi, I'm Liz Larson, and yesterday we were talking about what if you could delete a bad mood? Well, today I'm asking a different question. What if you could change anything in your life? And I mean anything. What would you change? So, what I'm asking is, what would you change it to? So, most of the time we ask this question and we'll tell each other what we don't want in our life, what's wrong. But what would we actually shift it to? What would we have in its place? What's actually the opposite of what we don't want? So the question is, if you could change anything in your life, what would you change? Actually changes when we think about that. So we say, well, I don't want this person aggravating me all the time. Well, what does that mean? What is the opposite of that? Does that mean that person is no longer in your life at all? Does that mean they act nicer? Does that mean you feel better toward them? What does it mean specifically? So we get down to it and we actually look at what would we change and what would we change it to, the story becomes different already. So that's kind of step one. What is it we actually do want? What does it look like on the opposite side, on the flip side of the thing we don't want, of the thing in our life that bothers us? So that question alone and asking what we do want and what the opposite is actually shifts our perspective instantly. It changes what's possible in our lives absolutely instantly, because now we know what we want, what we actually want. What does that even look like? What are the specifics of it? Never mind the how. The how is secondary to figuring out what we actually want. We talk a lot about manifestation and drawing things in, or even the power of prayer. But if you don't know what you're actually praying for, if you don't know what that actually looks like, then how do you get it? None of it could possibly work. So knowing what you do want and how that looks specifically really changes your perspective instantly. It changes what's possible instantly. So let me ask again, what would you change if you could change anything and you knew that you could find that new perspective very, very clearly, very, very quickly, and very, very concisely? So what if you're saying, well, I know what I don't want, but I can't figure out what it is that I do want because I can't get past the way I feel about this situation. Especially in relationship, we get so stuck. This is the way it is. This is the way they act. If they would just change, I would feel better, but I don't really know what I want them to change to. I had someone in my office recently who was certain they were going to change their relationship entirely, leave a relationship. And when we got specific about what they wanted, it really wasn't that at all. They wanted to take back a little bit of their own power, which they had never asked for in their relationship. They'd never told their partner they needed something different. Instant shift, instant change in perspective, and the person felt much better and the relationship felt better because they were able to just make the change they needed by asking or saying what they wanted. So when we can see beyond our own stuckness, everything else becomes possible, and things become possible that we never dreamed would be possible. So if you could change something and actually see beyond your stuckness. Now our stuckness becomes the big problem. How many times have you tried to get unstuck? How many times do you get a little unstuck and then get back to being stuck? Well, what really is stuck? It's a feeling we have. It really is just a feeling. You can say it's a set of circumstances. Yes, that might be true. But the feeling that we can't move beyond it and we can't see around it. Like there's a brick wall in front. We just can't get to the other side. We can't climb over it. We can't knock it down. It's there and it's always going to be there. That's a feeling in the body. So that's where the work that I do come in with Cognomovement and with Bill McKenna. If you can get rid of the feeling, the part of the pattern of stuckness that feels like something, it immediately clears and shifts what the brain's thinking. So that's the thing, that's the caveat that most of us have never realized. We try to change our mind, But we don't realize that our body is holding on to the other end of the feeling part of the pattern. It's a pattern. Being stuck is a pattern. We wake up stuck, we go to bed stuck, and we do our stuck things throughout the day. If we can change the pattern, the way that the mind and the body interact, if the body doesn't feel that way anymore, neither does the mind. It just deletes it. That's what we call it, deleting it. It's the part that we miss. We just keep trying to change everything from the neck up instead of looking at the body down. So we call them a pattern or a calibrated loop. It runs between the brain and the body. Somewhere the thought and the feeling are connected and they keep running a pattern again and again, and we just can't see around it. So what if we could? We can't. When we can see around that brick wall, get away from the feeling when the body just doesn't feel that anymore, all of a sudden the world opens up, and that question of what do we actually want becomes way more clear, because we know different things, we can see different things, different possibilities of what we can be now show up. They just appear. It's instant. They're right there. The minute the feeling is deleted from the body, now we're like, oh, yeah, that's what that is. Oh, that's what I can do. Ah, I just simply need to tell them what I want. Or there's another piece of this. A lot of times people will come to my office or Bill's or any of our mini practitioners, and the minute they leave, they either get a phone call or they show up at home and their partner seems totally different. It's like magic. Well, it isn't magic. It's that we hold each other in these weird patterns, these funky patterns. My stuckness holds you in the same pattern of my stuckness. When I'm free, oh, guess what? Now you're free too, of my pattern of stuckness. Now we interact differently. It's perfectly rational and reasonable if we just know that that's it. People feel the way we feel about them. When we release that in our own body, just in ourselves, they're free too. It does feel like a real miracle. So if you can change your current thinking, if you can see beyond your current thinking, and really what I'm talking about is your current feeling, then the world opens up for you. So what could change if you could feel beyond this current feeling that you have? Whatever it is, whatever the thing is you want to change, if you could change the feeling of it, you literally can change everything. So how does that begin to happen? It happens by actually getting the body ready to change. That's another thing. We may listen to meditation from the neck up. We may try to change our thinking, think better, think another way, and we forget about the body. So we have to get the body ready to change. We have to give the body some kind of a signal that, hey, this pattern we have, it just doesn't work for me anymore, and we're not going to keep it. Just like a computer, we delete a program and everything changes. So we got to get the body ready. One of the things that we use is called a Cogno ball. So we had a question recently, what does a ball do? Well, nothing. The ball does nothing except for when it's in your hands. So this has a complex geometric symbol and color, speaks to the left side of the brain. It has a shape, speaks to the right side of the brain. We're touching it, speaks to the right side of the brain. So now, just by looking at this, putting it in our hands, our brain starts to get activated. What's going on here? Now we start to move it left to right, and we push information across the corpus callosum, or the center part of the brain that keeps our two hemispheres apart. Immediately, our brain's ready to learn. Fantastic. We add on auditory cues, visual cues, and more kinesthetic cues, hands-on cues. And now we tell the body, hey, guess what? We're ready to change something, and here's how we're going to do it. This is a big part. We don't tell the body and the brain in combination, we're ready to make changes. Once we do, now the change is literally instantly. It doesn't take weeks, it doesn't take months, it's instant. Well, about 2 or 3 minutes, but still relatively instant. When people leave a Cognomovement session, they are a different person because their system is not working the same as it did before. The brain and the body have disconnected things, reinstalled things. The functionality has changed. So often they'll say, I feel like a different person. Well, they are. Their thinking is different. Their beliefs are different. They don't have to try to change their belief, because without the stuck thing that we talked about before, without the wall, without the feeling, it's just changed. And there's this funny little thing that goes with it where people just don't remember that the problem was that big in the first place. We call it amnesia. Great for the person, kind of terrible for us because they don't remember that we did anything for them in the first place. But here's the cool thing about this. We don't have to do it for you. You don't have to see a practitioner. You can do it for yourself. So this Tuesday, which is August 18th at 4 o'clock on Cognomovement.com, we're doing an intro to Cognomovement. So we're going to take a couple of hours. We're going to show you how to use this system and how to change things instantly for yourself. Now, sometimes it's great to have help. We all love to have help and a coach. Sometimes it just makes us do it, but you can do it for yourself. That's the wonderful thing. As long as we can teach you the few steps you need to change the way your brain and your body are talking to each other, to delete a system, a program, a pattern that has been running maybe your whole life in just a few minutes, that changes your entire perspective. It literally can change anything. We've seen it change everything. And, you know, we use the word miracle. Yeah, we throw it around because some of the things that have changed, people never dreamed in their life were possible of changing, and they do instantly. Instantly, for real. So, if you're interested in changing something or everything, join us on Tuesday night. It's just $47. It's a couple of hours. You do need your Cognomovement ball. If you order it on Amazon, you can get it right away. If you're in the Grants Pass area, you can contact me at transform1idea@gmail.com. Transform1 and the word one idea@gmail.com. Or you can get a hold of both of us, Bill and I, at billmckennaevents@gmail.com in the San Diego area, and you can get a ball right away. There is a nominal fee for the ball, but we can get you one and you can join the class. If you already have your ball and you just have not learned how to use it, join us. I promise you will be really happy and you'll make a real change tomorrow night. We're going to show you how to do it. You'll actually work some sessions and you'll find that some things are absolutely different by tomorrow. Now, if you're already one of our Cognomovers and you're ready to take a deep dive, you've learned how to do the system, but you know, you kind of don't get around to doing it, on Thursday night, we're going to have a 2-hour deep dive where we'll dig in and really make some significant changes. We're not going to spend a lot of time training on how to do it. We're just going to dig in and really do it. Get some of those perspective changes, get those feelings out that you just don't want anymore, get the patterns changed, and have things be really different by Thursday evening. So Cognomovement.com. Upcoming events, you can join us for all the things we have. Thursday, actually, if you just want to check it out and you don't really want to invest in anything, come to our free Cogno Hour. It's a mini session. We're going to do it at 3 o'clock this Thursday. We normally do it at 4, but 3 o'clock on Thursday, August 20th, Pacific time. And you can just see how the system works, run a little session, make some change. Some miracles have happened in that mini session, that free mini session too. So it's not about having to buy something. If you don't want to do any of that, simply take a notepad and write down what is the opposite of the thing you don't want, the block that you're having, the thing that's driving you nuts. What is the opposite of it, the exact 180 degrees? And see what's there. Work it out. See if it's hard for you to figure that out. Just that one thing alone will change your perspective. And it could change your life, because knowing what you do really want and really sorting it out, getting specific, has the ability to just change it all. Another thing you can do is, if you're having trouble finding that 180 degree thing, find the thing that's bothering you. Think about it, feel it more than anything, and then do something completely different. Make your behavior 180 degrees different. Do something exact opposite of what you normally do, and see what happens there. You might see that your perspective can change quite quickly. If you want it to be permanent, I mean permanent, join us and learn how to use the Cognovall. So I'm Liz Larson with Transform One Idea, but also the Cognomovement systems. BillMcKinneyEvents@gmail.com is a great way to reach out, and cognomovement.com /upcoming events is a great way to join some of our classes. Talk to you soon, sooner than later. Bye.